Oh, all right, all right. Tennessee 7, Kentucky 10. An abomination of a first half. What an embarrassment. Losing to Kentucky. Everybody needs to be fired. All right, I'm Charlie Burris. That's Jonathan Crompton, former Vols quarterback. Welcome in to the A to Z Sports Big Orange halftime reaction show. I'm not going to overreact. Fire everybody. You can't be losing to Kentucky. I won't overreact, Crump. I won't do it. Fire the entire staff. How are we losing to Kentucky right now? This is brought to you by Zen Sports. We'll talk about them in just a second. What's up, man? How are we doing?
It's not funny. It's not funny, but it's funny.
No, it's not.
We're not a good first half offensive football team. Let's just call it like it is.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. We're not a good first half offensive football team. A positive, we scored in the first half.
Yeah, baby. First half touchdown. Yeah, finally.
It's one of those that we can sit here and say shoulda, coulda, woulda all day long on a couple things. But ultimately, we're shooting ourselves in the foot too much. We're just untimely. Like, how many games in a row, or at least this year, but it feels like 3 in a row, that we've got the ball first drive, drove down the field, had an awesome drive, fumble. You know, it almost feels like it's been 3 games in a row. I don't know if it has been.
Well, this one was effectively a fumble. You missed a field goal, which is, it's the same as like a turnover on downs. So 3 straight games with a turnover on your first drive. Great.
Didn't we fumble on the first drive and miss a field goal on the second?
Did I miss the first drive?
Well, we fumbled at some point. I'll just say it that way.
They did fumble. Samson had his second fumble.
I could have swore it was either way. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm not 100%, but I thought it was on the first one because then they went down and scored, and then we went down and missed a field goal or something like that. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little kind of perturbed at the time, but we're self-inflicting too many wounds is what I'm getting at, just offensively. Now, granted, the defense first play of the game, what the crap? Like, oh my God, the world's over. Like, the game, this shouldn't go this way. They bow their neck, get a 4th down stop. You obviously don't want to give up a 50-yard run to start the game, but way to not give up points there. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, way to not give up points on that first drive. We had a good drive going, and then just too many time mistakes, 2 missed field goals, a fumble. Right there before the end of the half, got to throw that ball up. At least just get it in the end zone. A PI, get it on the wall. Something could happen. Yeah. Worst case scenario, interception. Who cares at that point? It's the last play of the half. So I'm not, the sky's not falling. But if we're going to sit here and act like we want to be a playoff contending team, we're not close.
No.
In that sense.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just the brutal honesty. But the thing is, neither is Georgia, right? And I'm saying it because everybody's like, "Oh, Georgia this, Georgia that." And I'm like, "Cool," but neither one of us, I think, are close at that moment. Is the sky falling? No. Do we need to improve on a lot of stuff offensively? 100% we do. 100%. We have only rushed for 74 yards, which is not winning football for University of Tennessee. We know that. We know that is not winning football. We are not a pass-first team. We have ran the ball 21 and thrown it 20.
And against a team that last week against Auburn gave up 320 yards on the ground. I mean, just to put that in perspective, that's how bad Kentucky's been against the run. I agree. And just to what we were just talking about, it was Kentucky's first drive went for 72 yards, but they turned it over on downs. And then it was a missed field goal for Tennessee, touchdown Kentucky, punt Tennessee, interception Kentucky, then Dylan Samson's fumble. But like Tennessee is moving the ball. I mean, the 70-yard drive on the missed field goal, then 27 yards, 23 yards, 33 yards, 64 yards, and 32 yards to end the half there. I mean, they've collected some yards, and you just, like you said, you're shooting yourself in the foot. over and over and over, just banging your head against the wall here. And then, like we said every single week, like the defense is not going to be flat out sterling gold perfect all the time. And so eventually this thing is going to bite you in the butt, sucking like this on offense. And in this one, the drop by Brazel in the end zone. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh.
Is that an easy catch? No. Is that a catch an SEC receiver makes? Yes.
Exactly.
That's the way you look at it. The average wide receiver, that's a very hard catch because of great ball location. But that's just a hard catch on the run, trying to lay out for it. But an SEC top 10 team that will make that catch.
Kitzelman dropped a touchdown that ended up being a missed field goal. And his was
his was a little more warranted. He got smoked.
Yeah, but
as soon as he caught it.
If Nico sets that out to him a little bit better.
You wish, we can sit here and we wish a couple things would do differently.
Yeah.
We're not playing as efficient as we need to. And there's a question asked do I think just as one of those Big Ten teams would destroy us? No, I don't. I think our defense is really, really, really good. The thing that we talked about a couple weeks ago was on our defense. Eventually, our defense is going to give up something big, and we're going to go, damn it, this is on the defense, when it's not. Eventually, they're going to give up a big play. That's just the reality of football. But when are we going to make the big play on offense? When are we not going to overthrow the receiver, or when we don't overthrow it, when we're going to make that catch in the end zone? You know what I mean? Like, when are those plays going to happen? The positive about it is, for whatever reason, that normally happens early in the third quarter for us.
For some reason, and you got to hope that streak continues.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the ball out of the half. That's something you could come out here, take the lead immediately, and just not give it back. And it could be your game from there on out. But
exactly.
Why?
I just don't want I don't want anybody, if say the defense, I'm just making a number. Say the defense gives up 14 points in the second half. Going, oh, this is the defense. Guys, there's a comment. I just missed it there because we got a lot of great comments coming in that said the 84 Bears would give up. They would have bust plays. 100%. That's what I'm agreeing with you. Our defense is playing so well over the last couple of weeks. Now, yes, we've given up but 123 passing yards, more than we have lately. But our defense is the only reason why we're in these ball games in the first half. So our defense is holding us in there. Now, the beauty of football is it's a team game. Offense, defense, special teams. So we just got to come out and do what we're supposed to do in the third quarter, like we have lately or recently outside of Arkansas, and put a drive together. Samson gets on a hot streak in the third quarter. That's what we have to do. We've got to get back to running the ball effectively. But I'm gonna die on this hill. We've got to do, and I'm not saying go and draw stuff up in the dirt, but we've got to do something in the run game besides straight inside zone. We have to.
Yes.
I mean, that's just
I have been banging that drum, man.
We do so many jet sweep motions. Just hand a jet sweep every now and then.
Yeah, they never actually do it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think it's just putting us in a bad position sometimes. That's my thing. Is like, once again, the sky's not falling. We're right where we need to be in the game because we're only down by 3 and we get the ball. But we should be up. But shoulda, coulda, woulda. Now we've got to start making these. We've got to start making those plays in the first half. Mississippi State next week, not very good. That helps us. But then we're on the road in Athens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we've got to get things shored up to go on the road in Athens after winning tonight.
The really annoying part is, and if they don't come out in the second half and kind of blow the doors open, which I hope they do, and we'll see. But you have a chance next week with Mississippi State. I mean, Mississippi State's defense is, it's bad. Like, really, really bad.
Yeah.
And you have a chance that if you can get things right, you sort of have a confidence builder coming up going into the Georgia game. Like, it's actually a nice setup if you can just not shoot yourself in the foot so much. And so that just makes it so much more frustrating just watching this nonsense where they just cannot get out of their own way. And I guess credit to Kentucky. This is probably sort of a game where they're just trying to show pride because they're so beaten down at the moment.
Yeah.
They're in a complete garbage dump at right now. And so, hey, they've come out, they've shown some pride, but like one of their best players got injured in that first half. And like they're just and they have a ton of other injuries. Like they're in such a tough spot, and you are losing at halftime to them. Like, what are we doing? This cannot happen.
Self-inflicted wounds. But this is a good question. This is a good question. Zach Braswell asked me, is Samson banged up multiple weeks of holding him out in the first half? And before you asked that, I was randomly thinking, because there's another comment asked about excuse me, about holding him out. And it just kind of sparked the thing is, I'm wondering certain times in the first half the past couple weeks, because we know he is our workhorse, are we saving him for the third quarter?
Yes, and I think that's what it is.
I think we could be, because if you notice in the third quarter, it's pretty much the first drive is like 8 straight plays of give him the ball no matter what.
Yeah.
I think it's a strategy. That has him do that. I don't think he's banged up. I just think we're trying to rest him because he gets the ball 20 times a game.
They do it nearly every game.
That's what I'm getting at. He's only got 7 carries tonight. He'll end with 24 somehow.
Yes, and I think that's why you've seen him in these second halves just take over. And maybe that's something that needs to not happen so that you can get out to a quick start and not have this crap happen. I think also in this particular first half, and I guess, was it the Florida game? Maybe there's a connection to his turnovers, where they're well, and
that was a couple weeks ago was his first ever fumble loss at Tennessee.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? I think he's only lost 2. And listen, as a running back, the standard at running back is you never lose one.
Yeah, don't ever do that, please.
But if he's only lost 2 in 3 years, that's not the reason why they're sitting him right now.
Yeah, and then it looks like Deshaun's hurt, which is now Peyton Lewis came in, scored a touchdown. Peyton Lewis scored your first offensive touchdown in a first half in 4 games. So there's
he also has more carries than Samson right now.
Yes, he does, because he kept that drive alive, and they just kept chipping away, and then he scores a touchdown. That's great. Really happy for him. That's awesome. I think it shows, between him and Bishop, like you got another couple of dudes in that running back room. But yeah, it's still just like pulling teeth here, and obviously the hope is that they open it up in the second half, and that's what they've done in the last 2 games. And maybe they probably will do that here. And I don't think Kentucky has the firepower to match you blow for blow. In fact, I think it's nowhere close. Even if they get Barry and Brown back, it's not there.
Yeah, no, I still think we win by double digits. I do.
Probably. If I was to bet on this game, I would say Tennessee probably wins and covers. But dude, it's just so frustrating to watch. But let's talk about this. Of course, we got to pay the bills. But the question that we always ask during these halftimes, who would you bet on to carry Tennessee in the second half? Who is the player that will make the plays that take Tennessee to a win here? I think there's a lot of folks to choose from. I almost say, we might need to just eliminate Dylan Samson. It's almost too obvious of an answer there. But Nico,
no.
Ultimately, you really can't. But who would you bet on to be the player that lifts Tennessee? Kind of against them. You really could go with Alabama. It was Chris Brazzell catching that touchdown in the end zone.
That's true.
He could have done that again this week, maybe. But hey, but that's the question that we always ask here, and it is brought to you by the good folks at Zen Sports. It's never too early to start thinking about the big game in this November. Zen Sports Book, the new sports book in Tennessee, has launched a sweepstakes for its Tennessee customers, the Big Game Sweepstakes, where you could win a grand prize of 2 tickets to Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans or $10,000 cash. Zen Sports will also award 50 additional prizes, which include 2 tickets to any Tennessee sporting event or $100 cash. If you want in on the action, you can earn multiple entries every day just by betting on the Zen Sports app. For every bet you place, you'll earn one entry, and every dollar you bet, earn an additional entry. If you like parlays, you earn double the entries on every parlay you place. What are you waiting for? When you sign up for Zen Sports, you'll automatically earn up to $100 no danger first wager. If that bet loses, you'll be reimbursed for the amount of your bet up to $100. So start betting with Zen Sports and download the app today. Zen Sports betting just got better. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. They changed the disclaimer on me, Crump, so I don't have the same read.
Oh.
I know it's a different disclaimer because it's a sweepstakes now. No danger first wager limited.
We need to make a phone call.
Yeah, we got to get it back. We got to get the disclaimer back. It was too important to the show. No danger first wager limited to plus 500 odds to qualify. Terms and conditions apply. A qualifying wager for a wager entry must have minimum odds for any leg in the entry of at least minus 250 or worse American odds. A wager at minus 251 does not qualify. Head to zensports.com/sweepstakes for contest terms and conditions. You must be 21 or older in Tennessee to bet. All of those might take a little bit longer for me to read than previously, but all right. Who would you bet on in this second half? We got a ton of comments. A lot of folks saying Brew, Big Ronnie. James says Brew. Pat Rose says Lewis. Charles Pierce. It's Tony Clark says Holden stays. That's kind of that's a deep cut there. Nug says it's got to be Nico. What say you, Grump?
Heupel.
Oh yeah,
I'm going Heupel for the fact of putting our players in the position they need to be in the moment when it needs to happen.
Yes.
Whether in the sense of calling the right, like, yes, Tim Banks is the D coordinator, but the head coach overrides anybody. Understanding when to make sure when we're bringing pressure, when we're dropping out, when we're going to fire zone blitz, when we're not offensively, when we're going to take shots, when we're going to play action, quarterback run, all of those things come into play. And they meet for countless hours a week, nonstop about all these scenarios. You go through a lot of what ifs. What if this situation arises? This situation arises. This situation arises. So to me, tonight's going to be him. And that fact, because this comment by Travis, he goes, I beg people all week not to dog Kentucky because, yeah, they normally look bad, but we all know that they always end up pulling one or two big games a year out of their boom. We don't need to be that team. Travis, Kentucky's Kentucky.
They gave up 320 yards rushing.
Kentucky is Kentucky, and we're going to prove that in the second half. I mean, and it starts with Heupel getting us in the right position for the players and the staff for the calls that need to be made.
I will say a Jermon McCoy, a Will Brooks, Arian Carter, Andre Turrentine. Take your pick for the defense. Somebody get us a pick six. I think that could be the real backbreaker, or just a big interception where you. Where it's just a backbreaker against Kentucky. That happened in 21 against Will Levis and, South Carolina last year. Like, it's just such a big thing, especially when you're at home and it just gets the crowd absolutely jacked. I want to see it so bad. And I really want that for Jermon McCoy. Obviously, he had the massive interception against Alabama last week. And just, finish it off here with a pick six because, frankly, the offense needs all the help that it can get. I think we know that. But yeah, I'll go with somebody on the defense getting a big time turnover and just, Nico, keep chopping wood. It's not like he's having a bad game. Just keep being there. Keep putting the plays out there. And I'll say this. Did you see that block by Mike Matthews in that first half, Crump? Did you notice that? It was a throw to a screen to Squirrel, and he laid a block on a dude. He pancaked him. He pancaked the guy.
Nice.
Like Matthews did.
Nice.
Get that man the football. Give Mike Matthews the football. There just seems like there could be the potential for just throw a 50-50 ball up to that dude, and he can make a physical play. I have no proof of that. Outside of the one touchdown that he scored against Kent State, I think. But just try it. Just give it a go. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I guess we're kind of reiterating the same point that we said a minute ago. The sky's not falling. Like it is theirs. It's ours for the taking. The opportunities are there to be made. Now we just have to go make them. If we don't make them, then we need to find players that do make them. If that makes sense.
Exactly.
I mean, that is part of the game. That's part of sports. At every level. If you don't make the play, then we need to find somebody that can make the play. Because the plays are there to be made. The receivers tonight, the receivers have been open, right? And the past couple weeks, sometimes they haven't been open, right? We need the consistency. Yes, they're Kentucky or whoever we're playing every week is allowed to game plan too. They can have adjustments. We just need to make sure that we're as prepared as possible and make the plays. If you don't make the play, we need to find somebody to do that. Let's call it like it is on offense, not O-line. Who are the two consistent, I'll be there in the big moment, make play guys? There's only two. Samson and Brew.
And we're about to find out.
Like it is, right? So we've got to make sure that we surround them, and I'm excluding the quarterback here. We got to make sure we surround them with other weapons so the defense don't crowd the box, and they don't double cover Brew, and we don't have anybody else making plays. That's all we got to do. It's actually not as hard as it sounds.
Well, second half back, they already a nice kick return already. Sweet. The camera has lost the play. Literally, it's showing nothing. Tennessee got a first down. So somehow they didn't show it because the camera got lost. But that's
we'll see you guys later.
All right. We'll be back here. Same place. Find us here in the post game. Charlie Burris, Jonathan Crompton. Thank you for watching, and we will talk to all y'all in just a second.